Showtime!
Simple, simple, simple minds. I guess we'll take it one by one, baby, one by one.
Like, subscribe, and share the video. Okay, we at La Causa, one of my favorite spots. And I was asking the waitress, she's a Venezuelana, about the election. What's going on? I thought I was recording, but what I was saying that I understand her Spanish a lot more than the, I asked her where she was from because I could understand a decent amount of her Spanish. And she was from Venezuela, which is interesting that I was able to understand a decent amount of what she was saying, where it depends who's speaking the Spanish, whether I can understand or not. So I don't know if because Venezuelans speak slower or more proper Spanish that I was able to follow her somewhat. But yeah. Or, you know, certain cultures use certain words or phrases different. So, you know, it's interesting that I was able to follow her for a decent amount of what she was saying. I thought I was recording, but maybe I wasn't. So that's what happens sometimes when you're doing YouTube. Sometimes you think you're recording and you're not. Which was good because you guys would have saw the interaction between she and I, which was pretty good. I was picking it up. I'm getting better slowly but surely. I think my niche is to just be around more Spanish-speaking people, not so much the school, although I know the school would help. I'll just have to continue that online because I'm moving around. And I think another reason why I haven't picked up the Spanish, although I've been here many times, is when I leave, I'm not going to another place that I'm speaking Spanish, so it's a break within the time of me speaking Spanish. Who is the president of Venezuela is planning to sue Colombia because there are supposedly 3,000 Colombians living in Venezuela. And they are spending their resources when there are many more Venezuelans here in Colombia. Okay, so Maduro, who is the president of Venezuela, is planning to sue Colombia because there are supposedly 3,000 Colombians living in Venezuela, which is not a lot. And they are spending their resources when there are many more Venezuelans here in Colombia. Sí. ¿Cuánto Venezuelas aquí en Colombia? 1 million?
Ni idea, no sé.
No sé? You don't know. But we know that there's definitely more than 3,000 Venezuelans here in Colombia. Definitely more than 3,000. Okay, I understand. Let me ask her a question. So how do you feel about that, being a Colombian in general? How do Colombians feel about the Venezuelans being here? I know in the past there was a time where there was a lot of Colombians who went to Venezuela because of what was going on with the violence here in Colombia. So I know you're young, but do you have any understanding of that? Gracias. I just want to get her. She's young, so she might not be very political, but she might hear through the rumor mill. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you could be young but hear what the older people have to say, like the barbershop talk. Like, you know, in the barbershop, we talk everything: politics, religion, women, current events, sports. The barbershop is every community needs a barbershop. I think that's partially why I'm so well-rounded, because a doctor has to come to the barbershop. A garbage man has to come to the barbershop. A lawyer has to come to the barbershop. A teacher has to come to the barbershop. A drug dealer has to come to the barbershop. A politician has to come to the barbershop. That's why the barbershop is so integral and so important to every community, because we get to hear the real of what's on people's minds. We get to expose ourselves to everyone from the white collar, blue collar, down to the common neighborhood guy. That's why I think also I'm so well-rounded. I know how to deal with people, because I have to deal with guys who are educated, bougie, street, hood. That's why I'm well-rounded, I believe, because I have to deal with all those personalities being a barber and being in the barbershop and being a barber for so many years. We learn to deal with, and we learn to service and make all those people feel comfortable. Like I'm at a point, or I've always been at a point where an educated person could talk to me, a hood person could talk to me, no problem. Delicioso. Cherry and strawberry. Gracias. ¿Cuál es tu nombre?
Mailet.
Mailet. Okay, mucho gusto.
Mucho gusto. Thank you.
Mailet. Okay, so her response in regards to the Colombia Venezuelan thing is, she said, I just found out about this. And what I think is the president, Maduro, is mentally ill and ignorant. Here in Colombia, everyone is welcome. Okay, so she feels welcoming to Venezuelans, or she feels that's the culture here in Venezuela. And I do see taxi drivers giving the Venezuelans who are at the lights doing little dances and things to make money, supporting them. And I've heard from other Colombians that the reason why Colombians support the Venezuelans because they felt that Venezuela supported them in their time of need. This is what I was told by other Colombians, which is good. So I think she feels like the president of Venezuela is being petty. I was also told by someone else that Venezuelans kind of think they're better than Colombians. I'm gonna ask her, because the same way Dominicans feel like they're better than Puerto Ricans, you have these inner little things going on in Latin America. So I'm gonna ask her. I was told by an American, I think he told me that a Colombian told him that Venezuelans tend to think they're better than Colombians because they've been more educated. Do you know anything about that? Is that something you know about, or that's something that this is your first time hearing? Yes, it's good to get, although she's young, maybe I should ask that question to an older Colombian, like my landlord. I should have utilized the time, but I didn't think of these things at that point. But I'm curious to see what she says. They have a drink here when you use soda water or seltzer water with fruit, maracujá, and they put salt on the rim. It's non-alcoholic, and it's always good. And it looks like an alcoholic drink, but it's not. So you be cool at the same time. It's delicious. Let me taste your drink. This is good, but try this one. See if you like. Bueno? Yeah, I like this one better. Yeah, so I'm curious to see what she has, what her thoughts are. Even though she's a young girl, she's probably not heavily into politics. But if I have an opportunity before I leave, I'm going to ask an older, maybe more politically sound Colombian their opinion on the matter. Maybe I'll text it to my landlord. You know, he looks like he's like in his late 60s. So, and then he's affluent. So I would love to get his opinion on it. So maybe what I'll do is I'll shoot him the question in the text. But he was playing the election in a car when we were driving to Concepcion. So he wanted to know what was going on with the election. Okay. She said, I had not heard about that. I know many Venezuelans and they have never said that. They are better than Colombians. Okay. They came here because they were kicked out of their homes when the borders was closed years ago. The first city that was filled with Venezuelans was Valledupar. That was filled with Venezuelans, Valledupar, the city where I was born, and I made friends with many. They are not to blame for the animal they have as a president. Wow. Okay. Respecto, entiende. Okay. So I'm going to shoot my landlord. Maybe he could hit me back quickly. I want to get his opinion on this. So let me put it in, because he doesn't speak English. Hello, Luis. I wanted your opinion on the matter. How do you feel about the Venezuelans that are here in Colombia? And what is the relationship between the Venezuelans and Colombians? How do you feel about the new president? And is it so that Venezuelans think they're better than Colombians, or is it mutual respect in your opinion? Thank you. So I'm gonna shoot that to him and see if he responds rapidly, and I'll get back to y'all. This has turned into a cool conversation. And he's an older guy, so he knows the whole history of, I'm sure he's abreast of the history. He was listening to the politics on it all. So while I'm waiting for my food. She's a little tipsy because she had a margarita. She said she's a lightweight when it comes to alcohol. And I would say the margaritas was kind of strong. So I could see that her getting a little tipsy. Monteria. You like?
No,
¿Te gusta? ¿O fruta?
El
Star?
nombre, Nan.
Star.
El nombre,
Eh?
Torombolo.
Torompolo? What is it? ¿Qué es?
Fruta.
Torompolo. A star?
El nombre.
Is it the nombre de fruta? Oh, torompolo. So if he gets back to me, I think that will be interesting for today. This is corn. Like they give you these mice corn, yeah. They give you these kernels as a snack. I don't know if it's like a grilled kernel. It tastes like the kernel of a popcorn. Like, you know, the inner part of the popcorn. And they use this as a snack here. Tastes like a baked or grilled kernel. And it's crunchy, and they serve it as a snack here, salted, which is different. ¿Te gusta? Okay, Senor Luis responded. Now, he's a man that's probably in his 60s, late 60s. Let me see what he said. He said, hello, how are you? Venezuela is a sister country that provided employment for many Colombians in the past, when it was a very strong country economically and governed by the democratically elected president, such as Carlos Andrés Perez. Colombians crossed the border to bring oil, cheese, cigarettes, sweets, powders, milk, cream, and many other things that were much cheaper there because they were subsidized and regulated by Venezuelan government. There was a lot of opulence, and Colombians went to earn much more than here and to send dollars to their relatives in our country. Then Chavez took over and began the dictatorship, persecution of those on the right. Hold on. Of those on the right. Exportations and nationalizations and dispossessions of foreign industries and of Venezuelans of foreign people who had two or more properties. Armed groups were created to murder innocent people. Cuban soldiers were brought to Venezuela, and the exodus of Venezuelans to Aruba. The USA, Ecuador, Peru, and more to Colombia began. They took over jobs such as home deliveries and waiters. And when they come, they clean windows and they scratch your car if you don't give them a coin. The fearsome Arugua train is a very dangerous gang of criminals who have committed robberies and homicides. New people also came, and with the current leftist government that Colombian has and that was supposed to be Maduro, they have opened the doors to them by giving them medical services, education, and more. They believe they have rights in a country that is not theirs. I hope that by overthrowing Maduro's dictatorship, many will return to their country. We cannot have so many of them here harming the employment and health of our people. See, so here's a more probably politically astute person, older, who's seen it for going on for years, who has his separate opinion about the Venezuelans here in Colombia, which is good. It's good that he has his different opinion than a young person who probably grew up with Venezuelans already here. So I hope that was helpful to you guys. I know it was a little bit choppy when I read it, and I was reading it for the first time, and everything doesn't transfer over from Spanish to English sometimes fluently, but you get the idea. Thanks. Like, subscribe, and share the video. Thanks.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?